Is the value of your home in Denver going up or going down? Well, that's what we're going to take a look at, find out what's been going on for the month of July. It's the beginning of August. You know what that means. We have new numbers in to see what's going on in this crazy summer market. All time record highs being placed on price changes, price adjustments down. We're getting lots of phone calls from people who have made 10, 15, 20% adjustments in the price of their home and they don't know what to do. And it's only been 6 to 8 weeks since they've been on the market. So lots of people are having a tough time catching traction in this market. But I'll tell you that every market, even within Denver, is very different from each other, from Congress Park down to parts of Littleton to new builds in East Aurora. Every pocket of Denver kind of has this micro little market going on. But we're going to take a look at all the numbers, see what's going on, find out if the value of your home is going up or down, and really dig in and then kind of put some projections on what I think the next 3, 6, 12 months is going to bring in the Denver market. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Alex Saldana. I've been a local Denver agent since 2010. I love coming out with these monthly market reports. I love your comments. I love your feedback. And again, we're going over the general numbers, but if you have questions, feel free, call me, text me. My number's down below. And you can also request a specific home evaluation for your house right in the description below, and I will run a detailed analysis on it. So without further ado, let's just jump in. Now we're going to take a little bit different format here because we're going to start with what the supply and demand is doing. So coming here, we're going to start with new listings. Now we're looking at all of the inventory, so single families, townhomes, condos within the Denver market. And we can see July, we had 8,100 new listings hit the market versus June, which is 9,100. So that's a fair chunk less new listings hitting the market. So you would think supply and demand, that means there's less inventory available this month potentially than last month. But this is just new stuff to come to the market. That's not addressing how many properties are actually closing right now. So the next is going to answer that question, active listings. So we can see last month in June of 2024, we had 18,000 active listings on the MLS. July, 17,800. So not really much of a drop at all, ladies and gentlemen. So we're still going up in new listings coming out of the market, yet active listings are just kind of staying a little bit stale there. Pending listings. So in the next 30 to 60 days, how many properties are going to be closing? In June, we saw 6,000 go under contract. And in July, pretty much the same. So flat month over month, right? Of how many buyers are out there in the market, which then goes on to the big one, which is closed listings. This is what's driving our markets. This is what's driving all the headlines out there that you're hearing. Closings are down. Interest rates are still up. There are threats of lowering rates on the horizon, which they have dropped. I saw rates at the low sixes this week for mortgage rates, which is as low as it's been in the past year, which means it's the lowest it's been in the last couple of years. But it's not enough to move the needle and get people excited just yet. So 6,000 closed listings. Let's see where that is historically. If we kind of back up, here's the heartbeat. I talk about this on every one of these videos. You can't time the market, but you can time the cycle of the market. So on the buy side, it's easier to be a buyer in late summer into winter months. It's harder to be a buyer in spring and the beginning summer months. And this is what we see. So the activity generally peaks out May and June of most years. It was like that for 2023. It was like that for 2022, even craziness of 2021. Like, this is how many properties are closing year over year. And we can see we're at 5,900 for July. That is rather low. I mean, just to give you an idea, 2 years ago, we were at 6,600. Now, it doesn't sound like a ton on the surface. That's a solid 20% more. Last year, we were at 5,800, so just about flat. Denver market's been flat for about 2 years, and the closing is reflecting that. But what's happening to the days on the MLS? Well, looking at the average here, so here's your heartbeat again. Let me just go into the last handful of years. We're up to 33 days. You know, we peaked out in January at 52 days on the market on average. And now we're down to 33, and this is going to be as low as it gets all year long, ladies and gentlemen. It's only going to go up from here. So be aware of that. Now, the month supply, this is really what tells us, how the buyers are matching the sellers. When month supply of inventory is going up, that just means that there's more listings coming on the market. There are less buyers. And every year again, you can kind of watch this as we zoom this out. It's a heartbeat, right? And you can, gosh, look back in 2011. We had 9 months of inventory in 2011. That just seems like such a massive amount. And right now, we're kind of feeling the pinch on pricing a little bit. We're at 3.4. We're way less than half of what we were months of inventory wise back in 2011. But again, we haven't seen this much active since 14, no, 2013 now. Uh, that's 10 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. So it's been a long time since we've been in such a balanced feeling market. Now, 2013, we were way on the upslope. So it was just starting to get hard to compete. And you were starting to see multiple offers. And then we rode that wave for, gosh, what, 8, 9 years, right? So we'll see what happens this next month. I'll keep you posted, as I always do, on month supply to let you kind of know where things are going. But what about showings? What's happening out there as far as showings? So this is how many showings it takes before you go under contract. We're saying 8. Okay. That's about right. Right. The old rule of thumb is if you had 12 or more showings in a 30-day period with no offers on it, you're overpriced. Okay. So now how many is that showings per listing? So that means there's 4.7 showings per listing per month right now. So if you're on the market, you're getting 1, maybe 2 showings a week. If you're brand new, and most of those are going to happen in the first weekend, honestly, especially if you're priced right. Now, this is the general overview of the entire Denver MLS. But what about our subcategories? Well, before I jump onto that, I'm going to bring in what you're here for, is the close price, right? We didn't put that at the beginning because too many of you just go away after you find out the value of your home. But in all seriousness, the close price in Denver overall is down. We're down about $8,500 month over month. So 1.5% down month over month. Last month we were at 585. Now we're at 576.5. So you can see this is the last 5 years of data we're looking at. So July of 2024, we're at 576.5. Back in July of 2022, we were 575. So we have been literally flat for approximately 2 months, or 2 years, I should say. But the peaks and valleys are really, really high. So you can see back in 2022, we were at 600,000, dropped all the way to 520, $80,000 price adjustment, 15% drop in a matter of 7, 8 months. Okay. Then we went all the way up to 575. So a good 10% pop. And then we dropped down to 535, good 8% drop. And now we're up to 585 again. And so it's another 10% up. So what this is saying, and if you missed last week's video, uh, your home value is going to be dropping anywhere from 5 to 10% from now until January approximately. Now that's the median number. If you're a well-priced home in good condition in a good location, like, you're going to do just fine, and you're going to beat the averages and the median numbers out there. But if your house needs quite a bit of work, if you don't have great marketing efforts, it doesn't show very well, like, yeah, you got some competition out there. You're probably going to struggle a little bit. At least know what you're getting into. You're going to have to negotiate over the next handful of months to get your house moved. Just want to make sure that the expectations are set properly. Okay, so we're looking at all the data here. Let's zoom in and look at single families real quick. We'll just brush by these. So single family homes, we've been flat since April. April, May, June, and July are all right at about 630 for the median close price. Okay, we come in to new listings here, and we drop down significantly from 7,000 new listings down to 6,200. Okay. Active listings, kind of flat, 13,200 of the properties on the MLS today are single family homes. The amount pending, we've been steadily going down since April. So that just means closed listings are going to continue dropping, which is going to continue to suppress some pricing. Days in MLS Average is 31 months supply of inventory for single family homes, 3.3. Okay. Balanced market is 4 to 6 months of inventory in general, but I know this feels extremely imbalanced just because we've been so used to everything selling within the first 48 hours of being on the MLS. Okay. So that's single family. Let's take a look at condos. Closed price for condos. We've been kind of choppy over the last couple of years here. So the data here is going to be a little different because there's not nearly as many condos as there are single families. So we actually went up in value from 360 up to 364 month over month from June to July. The amount of new listings dropped significantly from 1,150 to 1,062. The amount of active inventory kind of stayed flat right at around 2,800. So this is interesting. That's a pretty big spike. So the last time we had this much inventory for condos, 2,800. Yeah, it was 2012. So it's been a solid 12 years since we've had this much active condo inventory. Number of pending listings actually has been going up the last couple of months, so that's beating out single families along with closed prices. Why is this? Because condos on average are going to be less expensive. So as people get priced out of single family homes, they look at alternatives, which are going to be condos and townhouses. Days in MLS, the average is 38, so a little bit more than single family. Month supply. Woo, we got a fair chunk of supply of condos, 4.5 months. Condos are officially a balanced market. We haven't seen that. So we saw 4 months of inventory back in 2013, and then before that, 2012. So if you're looking for a condo, this might be a prime opportunity to strike. And again, if you missed one of my last market updates, go back and watch. I think 2 months ago I went over Denver downtown condo numbers, and it was pretty ferocious what we were seeing specifically in downtown Denver. Okay, showings. Showings to pending. You get still 8 showings before you go under contract, and showings per listing 3.4 per month. Townhouses. We don't have many townhouses here in Denver, but closed prices is notching up 465. So we are almost, we actually last month or May, I should say, we were at an all-time high for townhome closed price. Interesting. So this month we ticked up by 5,000. New listings are plummeting down just like everything else as summer kind of comes to a close here. Less people put their house on the market. Number of active listings stayed up there. Okay, this is the wild peak. And I found out what was going on. One of my good buddies, Matt, reached out to me. He's an appraiser. I've known him for a long time. He flips houses too. He is in tune with the industry. So this chart here looks like all of a sudden the amount of active townhomes has just spiked up to where we've never even seen it before. What he said is that they changed the categorization on the MLS, which is why. So some multifamily is now showing up as townhouses. The MLS is a service where it relies on the input from us agents. We're not always the smartest. We don't always categorize things properly or at all. And so, yeah, what he was telling me is that basically they changed the categorization of some of the different types of properties. So that's why it looks like there's such a massive spike here. But you can see pending, it's also that much of a massive spike. So we went from 100 under contract in November to 500. Like we didn't 5x the amount of properties that we have available in townhouses. It's just they just changed the categorization here. Closed listings 500, days in MLS 31. Month supply 4.5. So we've got a fair chunk of townhouse inventory here. So again, if you're looking for a bargain, townhouses, condos, going to be the way to go. Showings to going under contract 7, pretty much the same. Showings per listings 4.2. So just about the same here. Now, how does this stack up with what the rest of the country is doing? Denver, we're kind of our own microcosm. We have a great economy. We have great quality of life here. Lots of people want to live in Colorado in general if they can. So how is that doing in comparison to what the rest of the country is? Well, let's look at some national data here and kind of compare ourselves to this. So what we're looking here is at Redfin, and Redfin is phenomenal. I use it for a lot of their data because they track it on a weekly basis. And so what we're looking at, these 4 lines are the different years. So 2024 is yellow here, 2023 is blue, 2022 is black, 2021 is orange. So we can see from the amount of new listings, we have more new listings this year than last year, but not as many as 2021 or 2022. Okay. The amount of pending, okay, this is where we're starting to reflect what we're seeing here, is well below the last 3 years. Okay. The amount of homes sold is just about on par with last year. The new listing median price is significantly higher than the previous 2 years and even 3 years. So we're 6% up year over year nationwide for the median home price. Really think about that. Like if we were 6% up here, we'd still be in, chaos mania, having to put down 25 grand over asking on every single property, but that's not what we're experiencing here. So we are not actually keeping up to the rest of the country. Why? Probably because we got so aggressive on the upside during the COVID years that now we're just kind of balancing out a little bit, where the rest of the country is still kind of having to go that way. And as people are moving away from more expensive cities, LA, New York, San Francisco, Denver, New York, they're moving to cheaper places and continuing to drive those prices up. That's my take on it, at least. Median sales price. Yep, up well year over year, 3%. So the last one we looked at was new listing price, new sales price. Median sales price is up 3% year over year. So people are asking for 6% more. They're settling at 3% more. Days to close, just about the same, 26 days to close on average. Amount of active listings, this is significantly higher. So 19% more listings this year than last year. That's crazy, but yet prices are up nationwide. So how does this make sense? I don't exactly see this correlation here between how there's so much more inventory. 19% more, that's significant compared to the closed price. Median days on market up to 34 compared to previous years at 32 or under 30. Age of inventory, average age of inventory is 52 days, which is up from last year. Now, something else that I love to look at here is the amount of price drops. And this is what reflects the emotion. So there have been more price drops on all inventory this year than there has been over the last several years. So 7% of listings on the market from this time to last year have had price drops. So 7% of everything on the market right now has had a price drop during this last week. So out of 100 homes, that's 7 properties. Now, one other chart that I love looking at here on Redfin is how many properties on the overall market have had a price drop. So we can come in here and we can see like LA is this black line that we're looking at. Oh, this is median sales price. Where did price drops go? Here we go. All right. So who's this orange? Seattle. Seattle's always great for seeing price drops. Percentage of active listings with price drops, 34% on the market right now for Seattle. The blue is here is Philadelphia is 29%. And we got Boston here at 27%. And we can see like Seattle back in 2022, 50% of all properties on the MLS had a price drop. And I have no doubt we're on par to do the same thing this year. It's an election year. Things get goofy in election year. The more contentious an election is, the more everybody hits kind of the pause button. And that includes sellers, but more so buyers. So then buyers become more in control. The people that are listing their houses right now are people who have to sell. They've had a life-changing event. And so, you see a lot of people with massive price drops within 4, 6, 8 weeks, where normally I would say, hey, give it 30 days on the market at your 650,000. If you don't get it, then let's talk about adjusting price. But we're seeing $25,000 drops in the first 2 weeks, which tells me that they're getting zero activity and they're scared. Okay. And then you have what's called the race to the bottom. You get 4, 5, 6, 10 new properties come up in your neighborhood. And now you've got the 10 people who need to sell, and they kind of have a race to the bottom. And then January hits and it's like, oh God, the world is ending. And then come March and April, boop, prices just fly right back up. So we've started to see some lowering interest rates. So what I think is going to happen, over the next 3, 6, 12 months, next 3 months to almost 6 months, I think it's going to be a little sloppy on the sell side, depending on your neighborhood. And again, if you want to know what your specific neighborhood is doing, you can sign up for market reports and stuff like that on my website. But just give me a call, shoot me a text message, or click on the home evaluation link in the description below, and I'll set you up with kind of a custom home analysis for you, what the inventory is doing in your neighborhood, and a monthly market report of just your neighborhood. So you can see how many properties are coming on, how many selling, how many are going expired. So you can really keep a pulse on what's going on in your neighborhood. And if you are looking at, coming to Denver from out of state and you're wondering what the different parts of the Denver metro city are like and what kind of suburb is going to be right for you, check out this playlist. I break down all the Denver metro cities and what their lifestyle is like, their affordability, and of course, the real estate.